Hello and happy August. Yesterday, Iron Maiden wrapped up their European leg of the Legacy of the Beast tour, 997 days after they first announced it. And I have questions.
Go and have yourselves a great time for the rest of the summer. And we'll see you somewhere on tour.
Somewhere on tour.
Somewhere in time.
Yes, so this morning while I was browsing Facebook before work, I saw my friend had commented on a video on this page, Iron Maiden Italia.
This is how my friends make it good night! We'll see you all somewhere in time. Summer. And we'll see you somewhere on tour.
As you can see, there is two examples of Bruce saying something about somewhere in time, somewhere on tour. The first being in Zurich. I've looked through a couple other videos. I looked at Frankfurt, Belgrade, and one other, and he didn't say that, but he said, in Zurich, we'll see you somewhere in time.
And then in Lisbon, last show, he says, we'll see you somewhere on tour. So, I mean, the fact that he said both of those things,
yeah,
and not just one.
And if you know Maiden, you know that they like to tease. You know that they like to hint. And the fact that that was said at the last day of the European tour has got me wondering today about what that could be.
It kind of threw everything up in the air.
Yeah.
For us, because we're very attuned to the way Maiden likes to tease things, and they always like to tease what's next, just like they did with Belshazzar's Feast, Writing on the Wall, previous tours, such as like 2007.
Yeah, I have like a list of some of the examples of like what they've done. Some have been very on the nose, like it's very obvious that, we kind of know what it means. And first one I put down is A Matter of Life and Death tour. I don't remember where, I couldn't find the video, but there was a specific show where Bruce said they'll be back with pyramids and an albatross, and so obviously everybody's like, oh my god, Power Slave tour is next, Power Slave Revisitation tour is next. And then I also found a video on YouTube about him just like generally teasing as well.
You look after yourselves. You don't want anything to happen to you before next summer, all right? We'll see ya.
And then, obviously, a lot of you who went on the 2019 tour found that during the Klansman speech, he would always talk about there will be new music coming sooner than you think. It was not sooner than we think.
Way longer.
He couldn't have known that, but still, like, that was teasing for Senjutsu, and people were still convinced in 2020 and 2021 that they had not written an album. But anyways. And then the last thing I had down for what was on the nose was just the Benjamin Brieg webpage that came up, because I think it was when they released the track list, people were looking up who Benjamin Brieg was, and they had set up a page about who he was, and they had, like, this painting and everything, and it was just something that the band set up. And then stuff that wasn't on the nose so much was in 2020, when the dates got rescheduled, WOTW was written on the wall behind Eddie. And almost everybody thought that was just like, oh, the writing on the wall just means like the future is uncertain. So
they all discounted it.
Yeah, well, I did too at some point, because it was like, it had been so long.
We didn't know what it meant.
Yeah, but it's just like the fact that tiny little thing was put in there, and we didn't hear about it for a long time, just like, they like to tease.
Yeah, so to add to the layers of, sure, he says somewhere in time, somewhere on tour. Also in Athens, just recently when they played, Bruce mentioned Alexander the Great, and it seems like every time they play Athens, he brings Alexander the Great up to tease them. So just before they went into the writing on the wall, Bruce said, Alexander the Great. He didn't see the writing on the wall. And Adrian started the guitar part, and Bruce had a little laugh, and he said, I'm teasing you. We're gonna effing do it one day. You wait.
And I'll put a little clip in here from our Titanium Tart vlog that we did back in March, I believe it was. And Nico talked about doing Alexander the Great as well, because he learned it to play with his band. And then Steve said, like, you can't play any songs that we haven't played as a band. And then, I'll just let you watch a clip.
So I phoned Harry up, said, you'd never guess what we're playing. Go on then, surprise me. I said, we're doing King Alexander the Great. Oh, okay. I said, the band are fucking on fire. He went, you what? When Harry says you what, you know you're in for some kind of a bollock. I said, yeah, what's the matter? He said, Nick, you should know the unwritten rule about any Maiden song is you don't play it with anybody else until you've played it with your own fucking band. I went, okay, I get it. I condone that. Yeah, you're right. When are we going to play it then? You know Bruce is doing that one-man show of his. Right? I saw a clip of one of them up in Canada somewhere, and somebody asked him, well, why ain't you ever played Alexander the Great? So he's turned around actually at he said, we may play it one day.
All right.
So I've got two out of this. There's half the band that are ready to play Alexander the Great. Now, I think we may do it on the Senjutsu tour. Now, you can't hold me to that. I just think if we, because I've done it with this lot. Steve's gone. Okay, we can't be outdone by Nick's titanium tarts.
So yeah, it's just weird. There's been a lot of talk of Alexander recently, and now this, and I'm not saying it's anything, but it sure is suspicious to me.
Well, I mean, let's talk about what it could be, even if it isn't a Somewhere in Time tour. My thought was, is Bruce just saying it to audiences that won't be getting a Senjutsu tour? Because we were under the full impression that next year we get a Senjutsu World Tour. And now this has just kind of thrown a spanner at it. Not fully, but it's got me thinking now.
Yeah, if
that
this
maybe they're not.
If this isn't just like some play on words, like, oh, haha, see you somewhere in time, but the way he said it just makes it, don't know. I don't know. It's just, it doesn't seem like nothing the way he said it.
So, I mean, we're going to have to see what comes of it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, would they actually skip Senjutsu?
Yeah, because it's like, if it is something, why would they be teasing it before Senjutsu? Because like I was fully under the impression like next year would be Senjutsu. So, you know, you would think like they don't need to tease that, so obviously they wouldn't tease that. But why tease like a different tour before it? Which makes me think like, is it a hybrid tour? Are they skipping Senjutsu? Is Senjutsu just a small tour like Dance of Death was like 4.5 months, and their technical second year in 2004 was like 29 days?
But my only thought with if they were to go ahead and skip Senjutsu, would it be like because of the pandemic they decided to catch up on the timeline by skipping the Senjutsu tour? Because it seemed like in 2020 they were doing what they did for Final Frontier, and they were going to play like one song and then do the world tour the next year and then call it. And also, I already thought that they were going to play Alexander the Great on the Senjutsu tour. But now that they're kind of acting like, what if it's Somewhere in Time, that makes more sense, honestly, to play Alexander, because why would they just shoehorn in a very popular speculated song for years just to, you know, bring in some old school fans to come to the new album tour? But really, if they're going to play that song, they need the whole stage, they need the whole context of the album Somewhere in Time.
And it's like, you can say they had Somewhere Back in Time, but I really do feel like that album got kind of ripped off on that tour because it was more Power Slave, even though they had like, oh, here's Cyborg Eddie on like all of the art.
I'm not sure that they knew they were going to continue with history tours with that when they came up with that tour, because they used everything.
But you know, I think it deserves it. I think it would be really cool to have like a live recording of some of these songs, do it while they still got it, because they still fucking got it from what I'm seeing in all these live videos, and it would be a cool opportunity.
They have to. I've said this for years. The only thing they have in their back pocket as far as 80s stuff is Somewhere in Time. They skipped over it. Like, they went from Power Slave. Even in the 80s, it was Live After Death, and then the next live album we got was Made in England. And it's like, where is the meat in this burger of these three albums? And we don't have anything as far as live official releases for 86 and 87. So, and they still haven't played Alexander the Great, so they have to go back and play this set the way it was supposed to, even back then, because they should not have played Run the Ancient Mariner on that tour. That should have been Alexander.
I don't know, we're getting too far into it now, but I just wanted to put that seed out there from what I saw this morning. You know, all credit to Iron Maiden Italia for pointing this out, because I wouldn't have been looking at Aces High from Lisbon or anything, but I would have seen the Maiden video. but I don't know if I would have thought anything of that. But yeah.
I don't ignore anything from Maiden anymore.
No. And like there was two other things I wrote on here is Bruce, like this was not on the nose, was Bruce's shirt before Belshazzar's feast happened, was he did a interview with Sky News, which I'll put here.
What do? You sit and you pollinate ideas, you know what I'm saying?
And is that what you did?
Basically, yeah, so we sat. I can't talk about what we did because it's sort of a secret, but it won't be for long.
Oh, give me a clue.
I can't.
Oh, go on.
Oh, I can, but I can't tell you what. I can't tell you what it is.
Okay, tell me
but
what.
It's right in front of you. Anyway, never mind.
Okay.
No,
Oh, okay. Okay.
You like crossword puzzles?
Okay.
I'll get into trouble. I'll get into trouble.
And you can see that he says, like, oh, I can't tell you, but it's right in front of you. Everybody had assumed in the beginning when that first came out that was about the venue he was in because he was promoting his spoken word tour. And he was in a venue. He's like, it's right in front of you. And everybody's like, oh, my God, are they going to play a show at, it was like a small venue in London or something like that he was at. I can't remember. Shepherd's Bush Empire. And everybody's like, oh my God, is Maiden going to play like a small show here as our first show back from the pandemic? And it turns out it was his shirt. It was his Belshazzar's Feast shirt, and then that whole thing exploded. And then the last thing that wasn't so on the nose, but we knew what it was after the Book of Souls live chapter, wait about 5 seconds, and up comes the Legacy of the Beast, Eddie, and all the stained glass, and all of the hints on that. So
I'm telling you, as soon as the U.S. tour concludes, we are going to be hearing about the next thing.
We will hear about the next thing, but what it will be, I'm not so sure. But I'm just planting a seed now and saying that I am going to be keeping my ears open on the U.S. tour to see if he does this again. So if I don't hear anything more of this, I'm going to discount this idea. But if he starts saying the see you somewhere in time, somewhere on tour, on the U.S. tour, I'm going to start speculating again.
It would be a shame to skip Senjutsu, but would you be about it if they just went straight into
I don't know.
Somewhere in Time tour?
I want to hear the Parchment live.
What if they do the opposite idea of what I had said, and they just start shoehorning in Senjutsu songs into future tours to get them played?
I was telling James earlier that the Parchment might be able to fit in okay with like Alexander the Great because King Mithridates, which I think is how you pronounce his name, who is the Poison King, fierce as wolf in a leopard skin, is what people think that he's Steve is referencing to as King Mithridates.
Who was friends with Alexander.
No, he was born about 200 years, 150, 200 years after Alexander, so it's like, same sort of area, same sort of time
not
period.
To bring up a different tour, but Book of Souls was like, temples, let's play Power Slave.
Exactly. So,
The Time Machine.
If they did a Somewhere in Time tour and they played a couple songs from Senjutsu on there, like the Parchment or the Time Machine, I would accept it. But I really don't want to see Senjutsu skipped. But yeah.
I don't, but I'm still about it.
Yeah.
I just feel like we've been,
we are getting too crazy with something that might not even be.
It may not be anything.
50-50 that this is nothing, but we will check back in on the U.S. tour and see if this has been said again. But I just want to put that seed out there for all of you people. We haven't recorded a video in a while, and I've been reeling about this all day. So I'm like, let's have a chat.
Keep your eyes open.
No, your ears.
Keep your ears open and watch what Maiden does on the U.S. tour, and maybe we can figure this thing out.
Yeah, if it's anything. So, thank you guys for watching as usual and listening to our ramblings, and we will see you next time.
Goodbye.
Swing, swing. Skibidi-doo.